Hi, my name is Amy Ginsberg, and I'm one of the clinical educators for Fillauer Motion Control. Today, we are going to be talking about different motion control wrists and their features. I would love to show you our basic quick disconnect wrist. The benefit of a quick disconnect wrist is that the terminal devices are interchangeable. So how you put this on is you want to make sure you kind of engage those ball bearings, push it in. All you need is about a quarter turn. Make sure it's on, and then you're ready to go. To take the terminal device off, you just counterclockwise rotate 360 degrees. When it's disengaged, you want to make sure you pull it straight off. A lot of times you'll have a 6-band coaxial plug here, and you really don't want to mess with it. So very important, I'm pulling it straight off. You can also order your quick disconnect terminal device with a waterproof collar. And as long as you're using one of our motion control wrists, whether it be a wrist rotator or just a passive end cap, then the whole wrist unit up until the first opening of the elbow or the socket will be IP67 waterproof, fully submersible. When purchasing a terminal device from Motion Control, there are other options on top of the quick disconnect. There's a flexion wrist, a MultiFlex wrist, and a power wrist. I'd like to show you the flexion wrist first. The flexion wrist on the ETD and ETD2 locks in 4 positions. The MC hand will lock in 3 positions. When you unlock the terminal device, you push this button, it can lock in 4 different degrees. So this is 25 degrees, 50 degrees, and that allows you really to get to midline a lot easier. You engage the button again, and you can go back, it locks at 0, and then -30. So if you're working on something that's kind of below your waist, it works well. And also flexing the wrist, if you're working overhead, it works well too. So to get to midline, overhead, and if you're doing something kind of below your waist. Another option for wrist flexion on a terminal device is instead of it flexing and extending, you can put that flexion device so that the terminal device goes into ulnar and radial deviation. This may be used for if you have some sort of career where your hand needs to be in a certain plane and your forearm needs to be in another. There is an option for that. Next is the MultiFlex wrist. This wrist is spring-loaded and it can move 360 degrees and it springs back to its neutral position. There is a lock mechanism down here that when you push the latch, it allows for radial and ulnar deviation, but it doesn't allow for flexion and extension. When you unlock the mechanism, you can pre-position it. It'll lock an extension. And then you can unlock the mechanism. It'll lock in neutral. And then it'll lock in flexion. Again, being able to get to the midline while still allowing ulnar and radial deviation. We like to say that this particular wrist allows the environment to push on you. So doing tasks like mopping the floor, sweeping the floor, shoveling, it's a lot nicer when you're not fighting the rigidity of the wrist, where the wrist will move with you. You can also purchase a separate cover for this MultiFlex wrist that covers between the end of this hand and the top of your wrist. Next, I'd like to show you our powered wrist. This is the only myoelectric wrist on the market. It allows you for 150 degrees of flexion and extension. And when you order it, it's part of the terminal device, and it comes with industry standard quick disconnect wrist. This wrist connects to an app through Bluetooth where you can adjust the speed of how fast it goes. You can also set a stopping point. So if there's a place where you like that angle for certain ADLs, you can set that. how long it stops at the stopping point. Also, how to switch from open and close to wrist flexion. You can either use fast access or co-contraction, and this is all set up through the app. This wrist is also IP67 waterproof rated, and you can also order it to be set instead of flexion and extension. You can have it be set for radial and ulnar deviation. In addition to the wrist options that you have for your terminal devices, you can also order an electric wrist rotator for motion control. There's two types of wrist rotators. The first is a motor direct wrist rotator. These are used when there's a microprocessor upstream. So with our Utah arm, or if you're using a pattern recognition system. The second option is a Pro Wrist. The Pro Wrist has a microprocessor inside of the wrist and is used with other microprocessor terminal devices. It has 2 times the torque and speed of any wrist rotator on the market, and if used with a waterproof collar, it can be IP67 waterproof to the first opening of the socket. Thank you for joining us. If you would like more information about our wrists or even to get a demo, please visit our website at Fillauer.com.